a reminder, I would like to remind you again, this session will be live on YouTube, and you can share the link with your friends and families so they can also watch, and you can also watch after this session as well. And you made it, actually, and this is the last week of Digi-Art training program, which is co-founded by the European Union. And I assume that some of you are already eligible for the access to the learning library, and also some of you will receive the certification. As you know, the certification will be an opportunity to participate with your own work in the upcoming exhibition in Nice, France. So congratulations, everyone, for coming this far successfully. And yes, it will be the last week. So this is the third session before ending this training, I guess, and there will be a forum as well. And also, as a, again, reminder, there will be the fourth week will be in person, and it will be in Istanbul in the upcoming days. We will announce that. And this will be a co-creation, actually, a studio kind of activity. And also, again, thank you for bearing with us through this process today. If you have any other questions about this upcoming sessions and exhibitions, you can always ask on Slack. We would like to answer you as much as we can. And today we are with Başak Sönmez Beyazyürek for the talk session of the third module. And before learning more about her, I would like to share with you the main idea of today's topic. And as I can say, today's topic has slightly changed, but in a good way. And it's the creative journey, opportunities and challenges. In this talk session, we were mainly focused on the diverse opportunities and challenges that digital artists faced, and when they are seeking for improvement of their creations. And also we will explore some strategies to navigate the landscape of commercial and content development opportunities that is continuously developing, and continuously there is an opportunity to learn more about this environment. So after her presentation, I will open the floor for questions as always. And at the very end of this session, we plan to ask you a question about this session and send you to the rooms so you can think deeply about your answers with your small groups. This is an easy task for you, the ones that have been with us for the last 2 weeks. So now I will give the floor to Başak Sönmez Beyazyürek to start her presentation. And thanks again for joining us. Over to you, Bashak.
Thank you, Hanna. Hello all. Well, it's a great pleasure to be with you. And I can see that was a long but a fruitful journey of Digi-Art training program. And also thank you to Eka Creative Studio for inviting me to this beautiful gathering. Well, before starting the presentation, let me start by explaining me to you a bit, giving a background. Well, actually, I'm a communication professional in arts and culture sector till long years. I started my career in a public relations agency, focusing on culture and arts sector, like museums, international projects, some art fairs. And after that, I passed to a more advertising side, another branch of communication, to an institution. It's an art and culture institution named SALT. I don't know, you may have heard it before, maybe some of you. It's one of the leading, I can say, archive institutions in Istanbul. So I worked in the communication, mostly in digital and conventional advertising departments. And after 1 year of design agency experience, giving 1 year of a pause to the culture sector, I turned back to Borusan Contemporary. To the sector through Borusan Contemporary as a museum manager. So till March, I'm in my new position, working with this new museum in this new institution. So, before starting, please, I can just say, do not hesitate to interrupt, ask your questions. We can all go, in engagements. And Hanna said, but I'd like to add, well, if you have any questions on granting and funding, I would do my best to answer those parts as well, actually. But I will be mainly focused on the creative journey. Okay, then let's start. I'm sharing my screen. I guess you all can see, right? Okay. Starting in a more general way. Well, actually, as I can see, I'm sure you're all intensely thinking on your own practices, on your arts, on your own digital art practices. Maybe some of you might already manage to shape an individual and a tactic line, and maybe some of you are still working on it. Well, both is okay, both is great. You're all floating on your own timeline. Well, I can say that we are in a new matter room with growing infrastructure, and there are many blurred parts, which we are not 100% sure, I think, where to invest on, especially while being in the first years of a career, of a new career. It can be sometimes confusing where to start, which way to go. But I think this knowing your own story is very valuable. I don't know how you feel about defining yourself. Well, it doesn't have to be in words, but maybe we can just think about it while I'm talking. In the meanwhile, are you only defining yourself as an emerging digital artist, or through some other ways as well? Maybe you're a mover, a muser, an explorer, a caregiver, a supporter, admirer, a collector, an entertainer, maybe. So who are you and what is the story behind it is so valuable. So it's like a non-ending 101 process. This is very basic, I know, but I think this is the right way and true way to start, because this will also shape all your career paths. And being unconscious on it is maybe the first step to start on. And yes, another story. It's the storytelling. Well, key to build connections. So Mike Winkelmann, so-called Beatle, recently I read, he said, next phase is building emotional connections and utility. Actually, utility is some other story. Maybe we can also talk about it later on, but maybe we should just focus on emotional connections right now. Please just remember 2020, we were all stuck in our houses, trying to have a little human touch through online gatherings, well, yoga classes, Spanish lessons. Actually, we were so lack of story, and because it was nothing going on in our lives, we were not related. So we were trying to build that relation just from the beginning. So why storytelling is so important? Why so many people are talking about it so much. Storytelling is what gives creative minds an area to build visual narratives. So each story is a journey that makes the listener or a viewer in our case. And then the viewer goes on that journey, and actually, in the words of Jennifer Rucker, who is a marketing professional at Stanford University, she says, the viewer in the journey feels different, and the result is persuasion and sometimes action. So this action phase is quite important. In the marketing sense, of course, if you're a customer, that actions leads you to buy something, to invest something. But in the art, yeah, as a viewer, as a participant in art, we actually buy that emotion. We feel it. We put the empathy on it. So this is how emotional connections are being created. Well, in this photo, in this visual, actually, it doesn't have to be as challenging as Shahrazad in Arabian Nights, as she had to amuse the Sultan to prolong her life through the tales she made up every night. It was quite challenging. But yeah, storytelling has a huge connection with the emotions. And here, actually, I'd like to give an example to Refik Anadol. Actually, we all know Refik Anadol, his name. Actually, everybody knows. My neighborhood, 65 plus neighborhood even knows him. Actually, that's a quite success, even though, well, maybe there are some parts that we are criticizing on his art and stuff, which is so normal. But what he made very successfully was he made the digital art accessible. So it was quite niche, actually, in a very near future, in a very near history. It was a very niche and very unknown area. But names, well, Refik is just the reference, but names such as Refik Anadol, those gigantic visuals and that advanced technology usage, actually, he just impressed us and in the first sight, and he made this digital art scene more accessible, more eligible. But rather than this, he's telling the story through his art. And story is everything, a story of everything, actually. Story of archives, buildings, excavation sites, opera houses. Well, lately, some perfume brands. But the work named Archive Dreaming, it was 2017, actually, commissioned by SALT, where I was also working in the communication department. Refik employed machine learning algorithms to search and sort relations around 2 million documents. So interactions of the multi-dimensional data found in the archives are in turn translated into an immersive media installation. That was a user-driven work, and it let users to make a research, make a artificial library, an alternative way of presenting a library it was. So they could research and they could interpret and they could evaluate through that experience. So this also had this utility itself, which I think maybe the one of the most valuable things in its side. And yes, here we go. Now we're seeing 3 guys here. One is Albrecht Dürer, but actually, three of them, none of them live in the same area, totally different areas. Dürer and Haeckel live in Germany, and Kuleshov is from Nottingham, UK. But there's a connection between these three persons, actually. Dürer was a German painter, a printmaker, and a theorist of the German Renaissance. And he established his reputation and influence across Europe in his 20s due to his high-quality watercolor print. And as Ernst Haeckel, he was also German, a marine biologist, a zoologist, a physician. And he discovered and described and named thousands of new species, mapped a genealogical tree relating all life forms and coined many terms in biology. And finally met Kuleshov. Yeah, and he's one of the most actually significant and compelling artists in the contemporary British art. Throughout his 30 years of career, Kuleshov has contemplated the nature of the human subconscious and explored ways to influence it through various media. So, what are the things that actually united these three personas, three people? This art piece actually is the one on the right side is Dürer's art piece called Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse. And the one on the right is Pandora. And Pandora is actually is from the exhibition, is now being presented in the exhibition of Porcelain Contemporary. And we opened the exhibition in the middle of September. And that's a really exciting show for us, also hosting that show. But why I want to point out actually this artwork is Pandora was generated by artificial intelligence, and after feeding it an image of Dürer's Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse woodcut, along with the text prompts relating to marine organisms and 19th century botanical artist Ernst Haeckel. So the AI respects the composition and lighting of Dürer's original woodcut and introducing components based on the text prompts of Haeckel. So the resulting image generating resembles a vortex of unearthly organisms. So this is something interesting actually. This is worth to focus on. Let's check out what Kuleshov does here. He's a well-known contemporary artist in the rise of his career, and he knows that there's a big heritage behind. The heritage behind this heritage is and coming from two different disciplines. So actually, the answer we are seeking sometimes might have changed. I mean, sometimes we might have a look. We might not hesitate to look at the conventional, traditional. Well, yes, we are living in the future now. Yeah, this is how we were describing the future 10 years before. So, well, for example, me, I'm 40 years old by September and a strong representative of millennials. And we have really witnessed the rising of digital and how analog converted to digital step by step. However, we should not forget that, well, we are still in the era of where vinyl records are selling its highest numbers today. So there's a kind of wisdom behind what the show does. Yes, and let's move forward. And I have a question here. This is a question about being commercial or artistic side. What I think is maybe the border is getting a little blurred today, artistic and what makes it commercial. So what do you think about it? Please just feel free to hands up and share your opinions. Does artistic view should stay pure, or how is your approach? Or what do you say? There's no problem with combining it with the commercial, or maybe there's no difference between them. Any ideas?
Me.
Yes, please.
I think we must to make some questions, another kind of questions, probably before to start to answer this question that you are give to us at this moment. By example, what's make an artistic work commercial, you know, or who says this is commercial or not, you know. Probably I am going to try to make my most underground soundscape, but probably for some people it's very, you know, it's better a propaganda in television, you know, who says that, you know, or for the contrary, probably I want to make a jingle for Christmas and I want to be really rich making a fantastic jingle for Christmas, but probably it's a really dark noise that which is the big judge to say that. Probably this is a question that we must try to answer before to I'm just answering for my own, you know.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Any other comments?
I think we have.
Maybe I raise my hand. Maybe is it okay if I speak?
Yeah, Rosanna, okay. Right? Yeah, sure.
Yes,
I just saw it. Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. I kind of agree with Rodrigo. I think it's sometimes it's not for us to decide. It's just sometimes you make a commercial piece for your client, and it doesn't mean that it will end up being an art piece. Sorry, my cat is trying to speak too, so. So I think that, and the other way around too. Sometimes you're just like it's not this intention of making just a piece of art, and it ends up being commercial. And I think it's the limit is really, really thin, and it's most of the time it's not for us, for the artist to decide. I think I don't know if it's for the others, but I think it's for the life of the piece. If it exists alone, and if it potentializes other people's experience, I think it will be for sure an object of art. But sometimes it's too soon to decide which one. So just have to keep working and surrounding ourselves with the art and thinking about it. Of course, I think these questions are really important because I think they have to be being asked all the time. So yeah, that's my point of view.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay. Well, actually, in general, I agree with you, Rosanna and Rodrigo. It's not maybe today's topic to decide on it, but there's something that also in the contemporary art, maybe I think there are some how to say clashing parts in both disciplines. Well, creating impacts on your sensations. Well, it doesn't need to be gigantic or visually so complex. Well, but there's a big story or strong story behind it. If it's sincere, and should be self-motivated also. An artist needs to be self-motivated. That's what I think. Not producing, also producing for communication, for social media, for stuff, but firstly for himself or herself. And finding intersections and going and exploring the margins, paying attention to what is unsaid. And yeah, actually there's this power of intimacy. There should be, yeah, that's what makes it more close to the art side. I think so, I can say. But on the other hand, these all the things that I said right now can be also in the commercial products as well. So there's this saying of Beethoven. Actually, today I was talking with my husband, and he reminds me this. It's a good one. I think it was his dialogues with students or listeners, and he said, "No, you don't understand this music right now in this era, but this is not for you. Actually, this is for future years." So what we are producing right now, all of them doesn't have to be understood right now. I mean, in this era. So the differentiation also is not that maybe crucial as to point out. So what's crucial is the production. Okay, thank you. Thank you for your collaboration, for your contributions. And yes, architectural integrations. This is also something that I'm kind of interested in. Actually, it's the post-pandemic era. This became more visible. This physical experiences create more complete meaning when they meet with digital experiences. So, well, in the pandemic era, we all thought that all the shops, all the shopping habits is going to be on digital. But no, actually, it just surprised us a little. And the physical spaces, physical stores, I mean, restaurants and everything, they kept on going, and actually maybe more powerful than before. So the agencies who are now working on customer experience and visitor experience, they now wanted to offer digital touch to their customers. And everyone is aware that the added value of digital works, and if it's signed by the artist, it's very high. So this could be actually in any area. This could be how to say, a customer sale office, or I don't know, an employee socialization area of a headquarter building, or an exterior facade of a gym equipment store. So especially retail and FMCG sectors, they for sure, they would like to integrate this digital touch in their physical spaces. And let's check out these some examples here. This one is the digital art exhibition Blue Room, and it's settled in a department store in Seoul. So just check how a large area it is. It's you can just say it's an art fair, not department store. Because because it just rises, it just increases the customer experience, and also affects the same number, hopefully. And the other one, it's the restaurant, and it's a flower by Gilhem Marot. The Mondrian Soul is again in Seoul. It's a very beautiful art piece. Well, obviously made by some local arts, I guess so. And the other one, the left one is from the Barcelona, it's the Moco Museum, and it's the concept store actually. And I think it's the fusion of a concept store. It's the kind of art shop of the museum, and they integrated the digital side into a physical space. And it's a project by 6 and 5, which is a well-known design studio. And the right side, this is a new approach to actually full winter window installation. I don't know. It's actually I could check, but I don't know if it's realized in an actual store. But so this visual merchandisings are also turned out to be in a more digital, with the digital touch. And yes, social media. This is also a kind of tricky issue. I'd also like to learn your own opinions and actually experiences on it. Well, yes, social media is the reality. This is the new showcase, and we have to spend time on it while trying to follow up the new trends and new technologies and produce. And you also have to make like a double shift. Spend your time to communicate through social media. But as a communications professional, I should say that, I mean, an active account says a lot, says that you're there and you're producing. So while, for example, trying to choose, let's say, the graphic artist for my new communication campaign, well, I always check, rather than the website, but I always check as my colleagues also check the first the Instagram page, Behance for sure. But the portfolios, the PDF portfolios are not kind of the scope right now. And well, but the thing is, it is not social media. It's not more important than the artwork actually. And the intention should not be to produce for Instagram, but it's a tool, and that's widen your area. And I think we should keep it as a friend, and even if it needs a double shift, but sometimes it gives a very stressful moment to I know I have to work on it and spend time on it. Just please, maybe at now or at the end of the session, how does it work for you, social media? I would like to hear about that. And yes, this is the news that I read very recently, actually. Yeah, kind of this weekend. Okay, 45% of NFTs are now probably worthless. Well, it's the big headline. What the news says is, market cap aside, 79% of NFT collectibles are currently unsellable, according to the report. The market is dead because supply exceeds demand. It is considered that these beings can evolve to avoid extinction. For example, they may have a specific function, like a pass to access special events, a virtual item that can be traded in video games. Well, this is taken from a report, that Gamble report, which can be deeply viewed through internet. But actually, I'm not an NFT or a blockchain expert, so I cannot make any comment on this the information inside. But what I see when I see this news is like I just think that, well, what the reality, what we really strongly believe in something can change so easily in today's agenda. So so what is real is that your production. I mean, most of the people are turn out to define themselves according to the tools, according to the context. For example, there's a term called NFT artists. I don't know what you think. I mean, are there a thing like NFT artists? Well, as I can see, it's so tricky. There are artists, there are digital artists, there are contemporary artists. You know, there are sound engineers, but sometimes we are taking these mainstream tools and channels and mediums are too big and bigger than what we produce. I think this is the tricky thing, which can, have to say, manipulate and even block our production. If you start to, it's the same story with the social media. If you start to produce for NFT or for social media, the creativity kind of getting struggling there, kind of getting dying there. So it is important how we define ourselves, our own stories. Yes, context versus content. Yeah, actually, this is each era has its own popularities, own discussions, own realities. What we are talking today is so different than 5 years before. So it's called wake culture, wake generation, right? Yeah, the being so politically correct, or these crucial, of course, crucial topics like sustainability, I don't know, gender fluidness, or I don't know, climate change, etc. And versus that, for instance, Netflix is a very good example on it. When we get onto the medium, we just see several of messages turning around, and we were just coming towards us. How they using the contents as how to say, as a way to make people's minds shift, is something that we should kind of be take care of. So the content is always bigger than the context. So context can change, but the content is all belong to the story that I was talking all in the beginning of the presentation. So mediums can change. The discussions can change. For example, you can be an artist who is also sensitive about the climate change. So, I mean, yeah, please produce on it. Please put your interpretation on it. But as an artist, you don't have to. It's not a must to put an idea on it, because art is something so self-motivated. And lastly, yeah, beyond the screen, there is a studio called Meso Design, and I really like their mottos. Unimpressed by technology. Actually, they are a technology firm. They're a design agency. Well, why should a design agency own such a motto? Well, it's a Frankfurt-based design studio, by the way. They create some digital systems for spaces. So I know that you all focused on learning new tools, following up new technologies, trying to adapt this fast world, and which gives a lot of need of learning. So what makes this art the story behind? So what's paying attention to what's happening outside our specialty is so crucial. Getting fed through other disciplines. I don't know, philosophy, history, psychology, business symbiotics, linguistics, and following up the pioneers in these fields. Well, it's this guy here, Mahler, the famous composer. So there's a story that it's a very nice one. In his one of his master classes, he's just giving a class for master degree students, and the students are asking, so what should we do to improve our techniques more? What is the next level? What else we can do to move forward? And how he answers is just go and read some Dostoevsky and Freud, and please do not force yourself to be much better in the technical side, because there's an element in our agenda. In today's world, there are very pioneering leaders and influencing names like Murakami, Harari, Knausgaard, and Farhadi, Lantimos, in various disciplines of cinema and literature. So it's a very busy schedule, I know, but to make a difference, to create an impact, it needs more than improving the technical side, but the insight, the sincerity and the story. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And we can just please go forward with if you have any questions or anything to discuss, anything you don't agree on. We can just move forward.
Thank you, Bashak, for this presentation. And as you said, we open the floor for questions and answers. If there's any question, you can just show your hand or just directly say the question.
Thank you.
Okay, I think there's no questions. And also you have the contact details of Başak Sönmez Beyazyürek. So if you have any additional question that you would like to share after this session, you can always share with her, and